Hello lovelies, welcome back to my YouTube channel. On today's tutorial, I'll be teaching you guys how I made this super cute spaghetti strapped gathered dress. Now for the purpose of this tutorial, I'll be using crepe fabric. So I used the plain crepe fabric in 1.5 yard and the pattern crepe fabric in 3 yards. Now before you start, make sure you have all your sewing tools, your tape, your scissors, your armhole curve and your chalk. Let's get right into it. First thing we're going to do is just connect our borderline. Just get your borderline like you see me do so, and then rule a straight line. So from that borderline, you're going to take out 6 inches. That 6 inches is going to serve as your strap length. So from the borderline, take out 6 inches and come down by 8 inches. From this point forward, we're going to take out our vertical measurements. So first thing I'm going to do is to come down by 8 inches, which is my chest line, and then I come down again by 11 inches, which is my bust line or bust point, and then you come down by your waistline. Mine is 17 inches, and I'm just going to connect all those points with a straight line. Yes, so after doing that, we're going to take our round measurements. So my bust is 40 inches. I'm going to divide that by 4 and I'm going to put that on my bust line and my chest line. Now my waist, divide your waist, whatever you get, your round waist, divide it by 4 and just mark that out. Now the next step is to come in from the borderline by 6 inches. Please note that if you're a size 40, if your bust is 40 and above, just come in by 6 inches, okay? Now that will serve as where the strap is going to sit. So if you come in by 6 inches, your strap is going to sit comfortably right there. So after doing that, you're going to connect that with your armhole curve. So this dress is actually very simple and we really don't need a pattern paper for this dress. But you're also free to use a pattern paper if you want. Now from your borderline again, you're just going to come down by 1.5 inches and connect that with curve. So we don't want the chest line straight, so I'm just going to come down by 1.5 inches and curve it down so it can sit nicely on my chest. So after getting all of these points, we're just going to connect that with a straight line. Just follow all your measurements. I actually skipped the bust line because the dress is dartless. It's going to sit right on your body regardless. So next, we're going to get our hip line. So I came down by 10 inches, which is my hip line, and I'm just going to connect that with a straight line. And then I'm just going to put down my hip circumference. That's my round hip. So my hip is 43 inches. The hip we're using for this dress is 43 inches. And I'm just going to divide that by 4, which is 10.75. So I'm just going to put that down. And then I'm going to connect with a curve, not a straight line. Just watch what I'm doing, okay? Yes, so I'm going to put down my French curve and just connect it. Yeah, so this is what the dress is looking like. Now, this particular dress doesn't have a dot, if you noticed, and the fabric is a bit stretchy, so I don't want it to be too loose on my waist. So from my waist point, I'm just going to come in by 0.75. You can do 0.75 or 1 inch, you know, if your fabric is stretchy. And then I'm just going to connect that and I'm going to add all my seam allowance. So now I'm using 1 inch seam allowance on both sides, the hip, the waist and the chest line. You can do 1.5 inch or you can do 1 inch as well. And then on the armhole, I'm using 1/2 inch seam allowance and the chest line as well. So I'm just going to mark that down and connect all the points and cut it out. So now the next step is to cut out another fabric for the back piece. I'm just going to place the front piece facing the fabric and then connect all the points so we can get our back piece. You don't have to draft another pattern, just trace whatever you have on the front piece on the new fabric. So after doing that, we're just going to get the neckline for the back. Now, if we leave this back like this, it's going to be too high for the back. So we're going to come down by 1.5 inches, like you see me doing so. So just come down by 1.5 inches or 2 inches, and then you connect with a curve. So to make sure we don't have any zipper bulge at the back, we're just going to connect our waistline, and then from that waistline go in from the center back by ½ inch or 0.75. In my case, I'm using 0.75, okay? And I'm going to connect those points. And after doing that, make sure you replace that 0.75 on the other side. Yeah, so doing this helps to eliminate that zipper bulge and gives it this very trim waistline at the back. So after doing that, we're going to get our zipper allowance for the back. I'm using 1 inch for the zipper allowance. So I'm going to mark that down and I'm going to connect all that with a straight line. If you've watched this video to this point, kindly give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe for more fashion tutorials like this. Yes, so as you can see, I'm connecting all the points with a straight line, and after doing all of this, I'm going to cut it out. Yeah, so now we have our front piece and our back piece. You're just going to place that side by side, make sure it's equal, and then on the hip line you come up by 1 inch, and then you're going to connect that with a straight line. Yes, and from that line you go up by 3 inches or 3.5 inches, but I'm going to go up by 3 inches, and I'm just going to connect that with the curve. I wanted to do this with the French curve, but it wasn't working, so I ended up doing that freehand. So just give it a nice curve to the other side. Just watch what I'm doing, you understand, okay? And then after doing that, you come down by ½ inch from that line. That will serve as your seam allowance, and then you just cut it out. So now we're done with that, and this is what we have for the front piece and the back piece. You can see how nice it's looking. So I'm going to place my fabrics, which is the front piece and the back piece, right sides facing each other, and then I'll head over to my sewing machine and stitch both sides. So I'm done stitching both sides with 1 inch seam allowance, and then the next thing I'm going to do is to pipe the necklines. So I already cut out my pieces, which is 1.5 inches width, and then I'm going to use that fabric to pipe the necklines. So I'm done piping the necklines, and I've attached my straps too, and you can see how nice and neat it's looking. So the next thing I'm going to do is to get the circumference of my round hip. Now you're just going to measure the bottom part. Whatever you get there, you're going to times that. I want mine very full, okay? So if you want yours very full, you times that by 3 inches or 2.5 inches, depending on how full you want the gathers at the bottom to look. Now, to determine the length of your ruffle, you're going to minus your full dress length. My dress length is 62 inches. I'm going to minus that by 27. 27 is my front half length plus my hip line. So you're going to minus that and get the length of your ruffle. So after doing that, I'm just going to go over to my sewing machine and gather it, and then I'm going to attach it to the upper part of the dress. So I have done that now, and you can see our dress is looking all nice. I'm just going to go over to my sewing machine and overlock the rough edges. As you can see, we don't want to leave our dress like that, but you can leave it like that if you don't have an overlocking machine. Okay, so I'm also going to overlock the part, the allowance we left for our zip, so the edges are not looking that rough. And after doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and attach my zip to my dress, and I'm going to show you what it's looking like after doing that. Now from this point you see me pointing at, I'll just go to my sewing machine and stitch it with 1 inch. That's the allowance we left for the center back. And then from the point where I'm pointing, I'll just go down by 4 inches to 5 inches. Okay, this will make up for the 3 inches we took out on the front and the back piece. So after doing that, I'm going to attach my zip, and then I'll come back to show you what it's looking like. So at this point, we're done with our dress. You can see how nice and neat it's looking. I also went to give it a very good press, so our pleats or our gathers would look very, very nice. And then please do not forget to hem the bottom. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching this dress come to life as much as I enjoyed making it. If you like this video or you found this video helpful, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, drop a comment, and of course subscribe for more creative fashion content like this. And also click on the post notification bell so you know anytime I upload a new video. I'll see you on the next one. Stay stylish. Bye.